right. My my Facebook Live ain't working that well, but I just had to express myself about how wholeheartedly true I always am. Hopefully, it can be interpreted, which it was a little choppy when I went and looked over it. But what I was saying in the video or the message is, I'm glad that the two shots that I took earlier are gone out of my system. Like because I was a little perv earlier, but of course I was told not to drink, right? And I felt a little bad that I drank a little two shots, and my pops told me not to drink, of course. But I mean, I'm a grown man, of course. I just feel guilty, right? Uh, I just, I'm just expressing myself, protesting for 7 years straight, daily about the false imprisonment. Um, I'm clean, of course. I've always been clean. I'm moving out of the place I was in. I went there to check in, so I have 72 hours. You know what I'm saying? So tomorrow I'm gonna go donate plasma, which I feel cool, calm, collective, serene, not stressed out, no stress, or anything like that. It's so bad there. I have to go. Of course, this other guy, he agrees that if someone in his place tried to poison him, of course, he would do what's right and get out of the situation, which I am. I'm going to my place out in Hamlin, of course, so I can garden and give me a little plot to put there, and maybe even buy me a cemetery plot out there. I have had a good day today. Nearly got out of character this morning because a guy grabbed my shopping cart and tried to take off. But as I was saying in my message earlier, of course, I have a sword of justice. I have an armor of truth, a shield of wisdom or something like whatever the Bible says, of course. And I just would like to express myself a little bit. Of course, expressing myself. That's a whole subject right there. Because for expressing myself when I did the false time, of course, and they created the situation, they made it all up. And as I was saying in my live earlier, I was talking to Detective Cincinnati the other day. I mean, he was listening to me, and he started just at least checking shit in, fact checking, right? He said, "Oh shit, I thought you were just talking." The detective said, "Everything you say, you're telling the truth." I mean, it actually, duh, right? And then we had a very good understanding. He's cool, man. We had a very good understanding that they did awesome. Now I told him, I said, now, as you see, he's checking everything. I told him about I used to be a doctor's assistant, everything. And he's checking this shit. He said, damn, you really did was. Well, of course, duh. He's like, damn, you've been telling the truth the whole freaking time. I said, now look at what I'm here for. I said, look at this charging instrument. Look at this now. Look at the date of birth over here. Look at this year right here now. He said, oh, you know what I'm saying? Look at it. Look at it. You know what I'm saying? He was fact checking, and he said, damn, you're checking in. Everything checks in. We got that. Of course, it does. I'm a very honest person. Sometimes you gotta try your best to get your message out because if someone does not understand it, I mean, you gotta repeat yourself continuously for a period of over 7 years, right? Day per day per day per day, processing every single day. A person that has done time like that didn't do nothing, they ain't gonna protest there. They ain't gonna fight for nothing. But I feel like really messed up, of course. As soon as I got out of prison, I put cameras everywhere in my house. And just because of what I've been through, all that false time. In order to stop me from using my rights of freedom of speech and to express myself, their answer was to put a bullet between my eyes, the eyes of my 16-year-old daughter and wife. They sent the man in to our home, they held us hostage, and he said he was there to shut me up from stopping me from expressing my freedom of speech of how I was falsely imprisoned and framed by them, how they just created that record. And I was being completely honest, He came in, all right, I'm here to shut everybody up in here. He said he was going to kill everyone in there. He was there to shut me up once and for all. And over the Facebook Live, of me going live and expressing that I feel messed up about all that time that I've done for no reason. The school, Miss Mandrill, of course, she got involved, right? Every single plot that they had devised against me since 2006, the outcome was a life sentence. The outcome was a life sentence. Even for a Class A misdemeanor that Miss Mandrill just made up the fairy tale about. Even what Gina was paid to make up, they called me over there. He was sent to assail me, assail all of us. Just like Gina already got paid to assault assailant me. Assault. That's right. They invited me over and just jumped and robbed me. And that's fucked up. During the process of saving Arbetta's life, which Gina does crack, Gina does meth, Gina smokes K2, and of course weed. I went to bed, and Gina was smoking drugs with Aretta, and that's when Aretta overdosed, and they woke me up. Gina woke me up. Save her, save her. During the process of saving Aretta's life, from Gina giving her something, Gina walks and just brushes into my shoulder and flops on the floor. After her heart stopped the second time, and I'm trying to bring her back the second time. And I said, what the hell, right? She was probably going to, of course, she's going to make it look. I didn't tell the judge about that one, but yeah, Gina did that during the process of saving Aretta's life. It's going to cost that girl her life. 1 week later, Gina overdosed on the same thing that she gave Aretta. So I head tilt, chin lift, cut, chest compressions, mouth to mouth resuscitation, bring her back. Her face turned turquoise and green. Aretta got flew to the hospital, Cook's Hospital. After I saved her, the doctor said, hey, man, look, young lady, respect that. Man, he saved your life. I saved Gina's life 1 week later. 1 week later, I saved Gina's life. I found methamphetamines, like a meth pipe, K2 in her bag, and she stole some money. When Aretta beat her face into the wall when I caught her doing drugs and all that, Miss Mandrill, the school principal, she took it upon herself to create some devised stupid ass story, and it said Aretta walked to the office and said that you beat her the hell and back, and I'm like, what the fuck? And Aretta's like, I didn't say that. You're fucking lying. And the police, and I was like, man, look at this video. The police looked at it, and the CPS looked at it. They said, damn, these people are lying on you, Parker. I said, I know, man. I'm tired of it. That would have been life in prison for nothing. That was a misdemeanor that of course, I didn't get charged for it. But the thing is, she attempted to. She attempted to devise a plan of joining part of a plan to take my life. The school principal did up there with my child up there, stalking my child at a school, saying that she said something she didn't say, just to aim at me. You aim at a man because you don't like him? I mean, the fuck, they called me over there and beat me and robbed me. And I just kept my hands at my side. I'm being punched all up in the face. And I was grabbed, of course, and she made me hit my head. Blood started squirting out my fucking head. And I fell out on the floor. And I'm like, man, please get her. And Gina said, you're letting her do that to you. And I'm like, man, look, I don't want no problems, man. I don't want no damn trouble. Please call the police. Gina walked to the kitchen to get her phone. God, I'm getting up off the floor and I'm walking outside. And I just still didn't kill your puppy then. And she grabs my puppy and she flops on the ground and she starts trying to break his neck and choking him. He's all, and I'm like, Einstein, he's dying and he's sitting there looking at the person that he depended to love and to protect him and to care for him. I tried to grab him once I couldn't. She had a death grip on him. She was killing him. So I backed up. Then I backed up. That's when Patricia Simpson was pulling up. And I tell Miss Simpson, I'm like, ma'am, I'm so glad you guys are here. I said, man, I just was assaulted and robbed, and they're taking my dog and they're going to kill him. This bitch, excuse my French, she just walked past me like I'm a black ass turd. She went to talk to them, of course, right? But she won't take my statement. And then she came like, you're going to jail. I'm like, ma'am, let me get my statement. I said, I didn't do nothing. Turn around. I'm like, look, Miss Officer, look, I didn't do nothing. I'm trying to sit here and tell you that I came over here and I was just brutally attacked and they're taking my dog and they're going to kill him. Turn around. I said, man, watch out, man. I mean, goddamn, can I please give you a statement? And I dropped to my knees. Like, you're trying to cuss me for nothing. Get over here, quit resisting. I'm like, fuck it. They slammed my face in the ground. Of course, broke my platinum teeth and shit, right? I went on and just let him take me. I resisted a little bit because I mean, damn, right? You put something on me that I mean, like cuffs on me, right? And I'm sitting here reporting to you that I was robbed. And, I mean, robbed. They have my dog right there. They robbed me for that you see her holding. I mean, damn, right? I mean, damn, look at my fucking head and my face. My shit was all swollen shut. My fucking whole shit. That's a hate crime. They staged a hate crime for nothing. They staged the crime, the criminal record, everything on my police record from 2003, 2, all the way up until now has all been made up. And they used the fake record to add to what they were doing in Hamlin to try to take my whole entire life. Everything they did was made up. Every single thing they did was made up. And they just tried to poison me over here. The reason I'm moving out over here, which I just touched down over there, but the reason I'm moving out is because they tried to poison me with kerosene. Yeah, I'm gone. I'm leaving there. Everybody said, yeah, you should go because they tried to poison you. I've documented it, of course. And the effects of that is neurological damage and respiratory failure and skin irritation. So, other than that, I mean, I don't fucking know, right? I haven't, even in the case from Sweetwater, I mean, there's no crime scene. There's no plot, no place. And that's, I mean, I don't even know them. There's no place, no scene, no. I don't even know nothing about it. It's just all made up. They had fake dates, and of course, fake dates, fake name, fake fence, fake everything. All fake. I just nearly been killed 28 times right prior to that. My eyes would be evidence of the physical bodily torture, which of course my eyes are all burned and blue. Of course, y'all have seen them too many times. That's just part of what happened. But I didn't ask for this to happen to my eyes. And I'm not pointing at nobody. I don't want to be harmed for trying to get justice, but I mean, I've been merciful. I mean, I'm thinking about just not turning this case in and just letting it dissolve right there. How merciful is that? While people try to poison me and kick me when I'm in the dirt. You know, that's pretty fucking merciful that I am. But of course, no one shows me mercy. They burn me out of my home to drive me out of my safety of my home. And there's no mercy because they tried to poison me up here, of course. I can't work and I'm kept up all night with this fucking crazy ass guy standing over my fucking face every night. So, of course, I've had a psychological evaluation. I'm very smart. They said, you shouldn't be here. The doctor looked at every video. The counselor did too. And they said, hell, you're just being a very honest man because we're sitting here looking at this evidence. And we heard you tell us this. And we're sitting here listen to this woman tell us about she's leading the conversation. And all you're doing is being passive. She's giving geographical locations that you didn't mention. She weren't supposed to do. She's mentioning a history, saying, "Oh, me and my mama I want you to forgive us for what we've done to you. All of it wanted all these years to forgive me for making the deal to have you to plant evidence to have you framed to take your life." Is what she's saying in the video. I mean, if that ain't enough, what the fuck else you need? She's mentioning Washington, why she came down here, what she was paid to do. She saying in that video that she was paid to fabricate evidence in these fake cases to shut me up, like Charles White, to shut me up about what they did to us. Now, that shows everything right there. I'm being passive. And she's the one that said it. She said it, and she did it. And she's sitting here saying, all these years, I wanted forgiveness. You wouldn't forgive me all these years. And I'm like, look, I done all this time in a closet, ma'am. Look, you don't understand what I'm saying to you, woman. I said I done all this years in the closet and I ain't even done nothing. And you help these people do this. Create a record to take my life, right? You help these people do this. Just made up information. You work with these people over here and those over there, and you got the money. And your only answer to it is, you slept with Heather. Yeah, you had 2 kids, 3 kids with Heather. I'm like, ma'am, all this time for nothing, Gina. And you helped and you promised me that you would never do it again. Uh, and then her answer to that was not her answer to it. She said, "Oh well, you and Bethany were together before. Like, look, this is not about no Bethany. This is not about Heather. This is about me doing false imprisonment. You helped frame me." She sat there and told everything, and she wrote it on a statement too. And she walked to the FBI office and told him. And I was fucking 1,000 miles away when she wrote that, locked in a box. So that's what's going on. I do feel a little bit bad and guilty because I drank 2 shots of vodka way earlier, which I mean I felt like there's just 2 shots of those little bottles. I don't drink, of course. My pops told me not to drink, and I just drink a couple shots. Also, on the way over here, I stopped and there's a guy named Will. He's from El Salvador. We had a good conversation, of course, and he has a lot of knowledge to. Damn, I ain't never heard of an El Salvadorian speak like that, right? Of course, I'm normally a paranormal investigator, so I like investigating things like that. And I do a lot of study in my field because I'm an ordained minister and the investigator for the firm. And so you have to have knowledge to do that. So we just sit up and talked about a whole bunch of lore, not belief systems, of course, lore, which lore is pretty good. Lore, and metaphorically speaking, lore, lore, not the way you think, it's just lore. Okay? Let's get that straight now. That's cool. He had quite a bit of knowledge, and of course, I mix it very well with people that are outstandingly fucking smart. And this guy was a genius. Yeah. I mean, wow, right? He had soda, which I trusted it. I mean, I drank me some soda, right? And hell, he had some little bottles of vodka, which were sweet flavored, which of course I'm not supposed to be drinking. My pop said, "Do not drink nothing. Don't do no drugs." Of course, I don't. He said, "Just straighten your hat. You look good. Straighten your hat, son." He looked at my video. He's like, "I'm tired of it." He said, "I don't even look at the videos no more because they're fucked up." You know what I'm saying? He said, "All you need to do is just straighten your hat and keep on going." He said, "Don't stall for nobody." I would love to work 2 more weeks to have a vehicle. I love working. I'm used to working 16 hours a day at 2 jobs, paying over $2,000 a month rent and going home and falling in bed, sleep. Why can't I do that here? Is there a difference? Of course it is. The people. That's the difference. That's the common denominator, ain't it? Obviously, if I'm doing something one way, walking a straight line back and forth, going back and forth to work, and then I get put over here with these people and they're doing all this, and you see a change in my living activities, someone's fucking with my activities. And I can't juggle going to Full Sail University and working full time and some old bum fucking pea brain ass buffoons running around acting fucking stupid and shit, trying to deprive me of my sleep. I can't sit and work and go to college while people are trying to keep you up all night. It's gonna throw you off. That means they don't give a fuck about my goddamn tuition or my student loan or my grants. They care about whatever the fuck they goddamn got going on in their lives. They couldn't give a fuck about me. I'm very merciful. And of course, I don't want to turn this case in. I mean, it's all about that, right? I've been stopped from doing my paperwork quite a bit, and I don't even have to. I don't even have to turn it in. I can throw this shit off a fucking bridge, right? I can throw it off the bridge because I don't have to drop it off. You know, I got I got armor of mercy, right? And I got a sword of justice. You know, I got a shield of truth, and I've got honor. Gina has gotten all the money. She's sitting over there in a luxurious bed. I'm on the ground. All I have is the clothes on my back. I walked off and left everything. The clothes on my back is all I have. And I sleep on the ground. Do you think I should be more comfortable than this? But how much mercy I have. I've not been shown not one bit, no quarter. Not one bit of mercy. None. And I should be. I can end all that shit. I can throw that shit off the bridge and never say something about it again. Why does she get a luxurious life and I don't get nothing but a fucking ground, a fucking piece of hard ass concrete to stand just to lay on. And I'm so merciful. I am. And I'm so just and I'm so honest and I'm so forthcoming. Detective Cincinnati, he sat there the other day whenever I went to visit him, and he listened to me for once. Instead of just hearing somebody mumble, he listened to me. And he got on his computer. As I'm telling him something, he's checking. He's a detective, well trained in his field. Well, and I'm glad. He started fact checking shit that I was telling him. He said, damn, even about being a doctor's assistant, right? He checked everything. He said, damn. He said, damn. He said, you're telling the truth. He said, damn, I thought you were just talking. I said, oh, no, I've been honest, right? I've been protesting for 7 years straight, man. As soon as I walked out of that false imprisonment. Or more like 7 years straight. And I said, now, look at this date. Look at this offense. Look at this time. Look at this fake ass age. And you tell me. I mean, shit, I said, look at it, man. Tell me now. Tell me, is this wrong or is it right? Now, am I telling the truth? Yeah, of course I am. Now you check check this first charge against him, this first case that they did in this way to destroy my life. Every single time they came at me, outcome was a life sentence. Every time. Since I got the Sweetwater, and at that go to the metal, go to the records that Kerry Blair and Andy Myron and them sent uh, the detectives over there in Nolan County, which Kerry Blair's the one that let the baby die at Dodge Air Force Base for an improper relationship. Instead of checking on the baby, she went in there and jumped on the penis and started riding, of course. And they let the baby die, of course. Tiffany Clafique case. She's the one who took our kids, and they raped them up their behinds. And that's a bad CPS caseworker, and they're fucked up. That they raped Deontay. I heard him saying it now. That was just a plan in a long bullshit fucking plan, and one complete transaction. That sealed the transaction. It's an ongoing situation. And of course, I don't do drugs. I want to take a public urinary. I want to take a public urinary analysis to show everybody. So I'm thinking about going to Walgreens, right? But I got rainy day funds on the card, which I need to get the fuck out of here. But I'm going to the plasma center tomorrow morning. Um, so I'll go there and get my blood taken, of course, and goddamn get some bread and get the fuck up out of here. So tonight I'll just have somewhere comfortable to stay. But which I'm very comfortable, cool, calm, collected, it's serene. You gotta see the patterns. You gotta see the environment I'm in. You gotta look at the common denominators that change the whole entire situation. You see a man working 2 jobs, 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. Sundays off because the bus does not run on Sundays. 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. Work so hard, you just go home and you fall into bed. Now, I work 2 jobs full time. I did. Now, balancing college, which I go to Full Sail University, I'm a college student, a software developer using artificial intelligence to make working in an Android environment. I can use Fedora, Julia. I can use Android terminal emulators, and I have GitHub repositories with a very famous application there, of course. My application is so famous that you can take any application from Google Play Store. You can take the Google Pay, like shit out of it, and you can sign the application as yourself. You can put Google search in it also if you want, and then you can, of course, export the APK and install it side by side with Google Play's Android application, and there as your own application with its own name, and it will fully work. And the application didn't have no bugs in it whenever I first made it. Now, of course, Google changes things throughout the years that I might have to change a couple of things because, of course, this violates Google Play regulations. But at that, we're allowed to do ethical hacking. Of course, I can look into anything, I can look into everything, as long as it's done with good standards and whatnot. I can look into your video camera. So for one, I can say, hey, how y'all doing? I can do whatever I want, but as long as you stay to standards as a developer. That's a pretty good darn I love my application. It's called Beast Mode Studios APK Editor. It's out of GitHub. You know, I'm a geek. I love software developing. I love music. Of course, y'all know I love my music. I love video graphics. I love special effects. I love green screen. You know, I had a green screen room. Of course, I had all the costumes, the outfits. I had Jesus uniform, Moses, Cowboys, the pimp. I had the big old bear uniform. You see Deontay running down the street in. I mean, you know, the hating on me on the street. Speaking of a hate crime, right? A created stage hate crime, an innocent man, right? That's awesome. I love things like that. Like I love being a human civil rights activist, and what made me an activist is, of course, things in my life. I love my children. I love gardening. I'm a green thumb, and I'm gonna go do me some gardening. I want to plant some green beans and some squash. You know, fried green tomatoes. Just a normal life. That's it. Wake up in the morning, shit, garden. I want my meet some little kittens, of course, some little cute kittens like Muffin. Had a little, had a cute little cat named Muffin. She passed away on me. I was crying. I'm like just a pussy, right? Because she was crying. She died from worms, and I'm like sitting here trying to save her. I am so compassionate when it comes to animals. Like even Einstein, that dog they burned alive at my house. I mean, I was crying bringing him back. He had a parvo, and I brought that boy back, and then they just took him and burned him alive, along with everything else I own. And now I have is the clothes on my back. That's all I need on my mission is the clothes on my back. I left everything at 11 Oaks because I don't want to be there. They tried to poison me, of course. People start acting sort of funny. You know, the common denominator to a lot of problems. You got to just take yourself. You got to step back and just look at something at a bird's eye view for a minute. And then, of course, in my life, of course, for every action, there's a reaction. For every cause, there's an effect. Of course, Newton's laws of inertia and all that shit. An object that's in motion will stay in motion to another object or force acts upon it. You know, so man, I'm very smart. E equals mc squared is energy equals matter moving at the speed of light times the speed of light, of course. Which means somewhat coagula solva, right? That's coagula solva. What's in solid form turns into a non-solid form, and what's in a non-solid form can turn into a solid form. You know, moving at the speed of light, times the speed of light, of course. No, so I mean, I understand quantum physics and metaphysics and the brain and the limbic system and the R complex. I mean, I know everything about the cerebral membrane. So you know, I know a lot of things. I'm not a literate person at all. My IQ is very, very high. The people that I like to talk to are mostly geniuses, and everywhere I go, I'm always the smartest person standing there no matter where the fuck I go. If I'm in the fucking middle, man, I love talking to geniuses because we all understand each other. We can sit there talking all day and fucking have a hoorah because I'm a freaking geek and I goddamn love it, motherfuckers, right? Get, right? Y'all say hoorah, I say get, right? Because I love GitHub. Yeah. You know, Elon Musk has repositories there. I can take Elon Musk technology and his software designs that he has that he would let us have on this platform, of course. Even you know the people with Apple and all them, and we can use their designs and their environments and whatnot. You know, certain environments like when you can mix certain environments with other environments. You can mix these codes with these codes and see the effects. So something in developing is so cool is when you see the effects of that you when you add certain different environments together. Of course, I'm licensed with Creative Commons. I've got Android developers license and Google developers license, and I do Google classes. I was already a developer, but I'm trying to get into AI thing. Of course, you know, it makes it a lot easier, and it's a lot of coding that you don't have to do. But I mean, I like working from scratch. You know what I'm saying? Two people out of every 10 person on Earth can actually code, and I'm one of those 2 out of 10, and that's pretty damn good. I might be a little disabled physically. I mean, I'm good, right? My body's good, but there's something wrong, not right. But that's fine. It's just the things I don't know. I don't know. I mean, shit. I'm a I'm an ordained minister though. You know, I'm an ordained Christian minister, and like the things I will elaborate on the things that are wrong with my body. You know, uh, no, you know what? There's something called the HIPAA law, right? I don't have to elaborate on that. You know, don't speculate upon it either. So, That's okay. I hurt my leg one time, right? That's all. Nothing else. I feel good. My body's good too. I think I look pretty darn good. Other than that bird nest at the top of my head, I mean, I have mercy. I do have mercy. And how can I show mercy if no one's showing it to me? I mean, someone's laying in a bed with a whole bunch of money on my head. What if they chop my head off, right? Or anybody, right? Poison or whatever. I mean, I could never take a man's life. I would never, man. I would die a broken man if I ever harmed anybody. But they were paid just to brutally beat me in the face and rob me. I kept my hands in my side, but I forgive, right? I forgive. I forgive, but it still hurts. Of course, I have feelings, and I'm a thinking, living being too. So I'm not being chased, and I'm not being hurt by anybody. I don't know anything about hurt. I don't know anything about any. I don't know nothing. I mean, I said that, but I mean, I'm not. You don't see anybody doing that, okay? So I don't want to elaborate on that. I just want to. I can throw the whole case off a bridge and be done with it. That's all I'm saying. Why do I have to sleep on the ground? Why is someone there living like a queen, of course, and I'm sleeping on the ground, and I have so fucking much mercy and compassion in me, and I'm shown no quarter. I mean, damn, should I be respected? You can hold mercy in one hand and wrath in the other. You know? Mercy and wrath. Mercy in your left hand and wrath in your right. And I keep my hands clean, but I just work really hard. My hands are so. Look at this. Y'all see this? That's how much I work, man. I work so hard. My hands hurt so bad. But all I have is the clothes on my back. This is me. This is all I have. I left everything behind in order to not be in an environment where people are keeping me up all night. And of course, trying to put kerosene in some hot dogs and weenie and putting it on some damn bread to destroy my brain. Or putting it in some controlled substances, trying to put controlled substances in my system to make it look like I'm a drug addict or something. You can't interject things in my life, but I'm still merciful, right? And all I ask is for a little mercy too, right? Hell, like, look, I have rainy day funds, but I don't have no money right now, and I need money to be able to get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna sleep on the ground as a humble man tonight, but with much mercy as I have, should I be? Should I be? Of course not. I shouldn't be having to sleep on the ground. I have a lot of mercy. Um, there's mercy in one hand and wrath in the other. And the mission that I'm placed in and on, look, I don't need clothes. I don't need nothing. All I have is the clothes on my back and the shoes on my feet. That's all I own in this world, other than a tent. And I just left everything behind. I walked away. My mission is so important. The thing that I'm on the truth, sword of truth, shield, sword of justice, yeah, shield of truth, armor of mercy, mercy. And I just want people to understand that. As I'm a very compassionate individual, and I would like people to know that. Just know it. All this can be dissolved and resolved easily. But she's over there just sitting in this bed, comfortable watching TV. Look, I don't have nothing but the clothes on my back and the shoes on my feet. And they're not Air Force Ones either. They're some fucking Skechers slip-ins. Right? So just understand that. Um, with much respect. You guys have a very wonderful day. And it's very logical that a person that's in a certain situation, being an adult and a responsible individual, you're supposed to take yourself out of that situation. I had to quit my job to be able to sleep. I don't want to be able to sleep and go to college. I mean, I can't. You can't live comfortable juggling your master's degree that you're going for Full Sail University, and I qualified for Juilliard too. I was going to two schools, signed into Arizona State and Full Sail whenever I got locked up those last 2 years falsely in prison. You know, they messed that up. My house, my home, my animals, they all just got tortured alive. And I'm still merciful. I must be the biggest fool on earth, but I am a good guy, of course. And of course, if you look at the records, you can tell that I'm being a very honest person. So, a detective, he listened to me for a minute. He just stopped and at least listened for a second. He said, "God Almighty." I said, "I know, detective. I know." So, anyways, with that being said, you guys have a blessed day, and I gotta go find somewhere and lay down on the ground where I belong. Right? I shouldn't belong on the ground, but I'm a very nice person. Somebody, she wants the basket, please. Are you using it? Oh, he needs it. Okay, it's okay. I can go get you one if you want. Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. So I'm nice. I'm good. I have good points of views, and so that's you know all be done. I mean, I am for real. So I can throw it off a bridge and not even go forward with it. And it can all be done. So with much respect, guys. With much respect, y'all have a blessed day, okay? And I'm gonna go find somewhere. You're welcome, ma'am. I'm gonna go find somewhere to lay low and go to the plasma center in the morning. I do have rainy day funds, not much, but I don't really have nothing. Like I'm very hungry right now, and I'm not homeless. Of course, I have a home, but it's hard to get there right now. So, I mean, I need a little bit of help. You know? So, anyways, God bless y'all. You have a good one.